In this week's episode of Working with Work, I'm going to show you how I'm using my calendar on a day-to-day basis. Hello and welcome to another episode of Working with Work. My name is Carl Pauline, and in this week's episode I thought it would be a good idea to show you how I'm using my calendar, simply because this week I've reorganized my calendar a little bit, and I thought what I wanted to do was to show you exactly how I use my calendar on a day-to-day basis. Now essentially that's because I actually run two companies. I have a language company, I have this productivity company, my online course business, and I also have my personal calendar. So essentially I have three calendar feeds feeding into my main calendar view. And what I wanted to do was to show you how I've got all this organized, and it might just give you guys some ideas about how you can manage your own calendars, although perhaps maybe I have a little bit more of a complex life than most people do, but that was my choice. So let's get into my calendar and I'll show you what I mean. Before I do that, I should point out that the calendar I actually use, or the interface I use, is Fantastical 2. I use that on my Mac, but you could use this system with pretty much any calendar you choose, whether it's Google's calendar or whether it's Apple's calendar. So it doesn't matter what calendar you're using, and it doesn't really matter what app you're using to view your calendar. That's something I just thought I should point out, because I know that people are going to start asking me, what is that calendar application that you're using? So just in case I don't mention it in the video, I wanted to make sure that you know I'm using Fantastical 2, and I do actually use that most of the time on my iPhone. Okay, let's get into my calendar and I'll show you how I'm using it. Okay, so here I am in my calendar, and as I mentioned in the introduction, and I'll mention just again, I am using Fantastical 2. Now I actually like the light theme, so I have the light theme here. If I go into my preferences, I can change that to the dark theme through the appearance, which gives you this dark side view, and I'll leave that on for now just to show you what it looks like, because this differentiates it quite a lot from other calendars. Now just before we move in, I'm going to show you where the accounts that I have in here. I have my iCloud account, which is what I use for my productivity business, because I just love iCloud and I find it so solid and dependable. And I have my language company here, which gives me the option to allow students to book classes within a specified time. The booking side is the only reason why I actually use Google Calendar for my language courses, simply because it makes my life a lot easier, and iCloud doesn't really have a very good booking system. In fact, I don't think they have an ability to book. So that's the accounts that I'm using, and iCloud is also my personal calendar too. And if I go into here, which shows you my calendars, I've got my personal calendar set up. CPP is the productivity business. Personal, I have my tickler file, which is synced to my Todoist tickler project. TBC is just to be confirmed. I have my weekly content schedule, which is via Asana, and I'm going to show you that. So all my Asana content for the week is actually planned inside Asana. So I have here today, which is going to be posted, which is my working with Todoist video, which will be posted by the time you see this video. And I got my productivity mastery series, which is booked for Thursday. As soon as I add those dates, that's going to go into my calendar feed. And of course, I've got my Leeds Rhinos rugby team calendar subscribed, so I know when the games are. Now, I don't actually use the reminders function in my calendar, because that's just a separate system for me, but you can, if you wish, you can actually turn these on and have your reminders list. And then I got my language company here with all the companies that I'm working with, which is just here, and they are all in red. So I color code things quite specifically. So as you can see here, all the red are my English language courses, all the blue essentially are my personal, and these orange ones are to do with my productivity business. So what I do on a week-to-week basis, so I'm going to look at, this is today's date, I'm recording this on Sunday. I have actually allocated quite a lot of time today because I will go further back here. On Fridays, I usually record these videos. So I record the headshots and I normally record these videos. And on Saturday, I edit the video. So I have here, these are recurring tasks. And today I'm doing, finishing an online course that I'm doing. I did my language course business at 9 o'clock this morning. I will be doing my exercise. So all my exercise sessions are actually in here. And I exercise about 5 times a week, and I do that on a Sunday. And I even put in my cleaning up the house because I know today is going to be a busy day. So I'm going to clean the house up at 5:15, and then I'm going to do my weekly review, which actually I've allocated. I'm going to just extend that to, because it's going to be a big one today. So I'm going to put that to, going to get that to, actually we're going to take that to 9 o'clock. So I'm going to do a 90-minute weekly review today. And I also have here my admin. I always spend an hour doing admin between 9:30 and 10. Friday night is my nights off. Saturday is also a night off, but I start doing my admin again right here. So that's what you can see is how I'm using my calendar. And the beauty of using Fantastical is when I start if I want to add a new item, let's just say new item. In fact, so I can type it in here. So this is just a test. This is a test appointment, and I can now if I put /CPP, it's going to give me if you can see right here, it's now allocated the calendar for CPP. I'm also going to put let's say today at 6 p.m. So that's now put in. I'm going to add the event, and as you can see, that's now come in here at 6 p.m. And that's one of the reasons why I love Fantastical is its natural language parsing. It is just brilliant. So that's why I love that. I'm just going to delete that because if I don't delete it, I will leave it in there. So that's basically how I'm using my calendar. It's designed to show me in a color form where I need to be, what I need to do, and I know my students, I know where I have to meet them, and this is pretty much standard every single week. So that's how essentially I am using my calendar. So there you go. I just wanted to give that one because I wanted essentially to show you what I'm using today, how I use the day. So as you can see, like at 9:45 on Mondays, I always write my weekly blog post. And then all these gaps here, either I'm going to block them off because I want to be on focused work, or I'm going to just take a nap. Because I do. I also make sure my exercise is scheduled every week, and I do that either on a Saturday or Sunday if I have time. So essentially my calendar is telling me what I need to be working on, and when I should say when I'm going to be working on something, and my to-do list manager is telling me what I need to work on. Okay, hopefully that's given you a pretty good overview of how I use my calendar. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions and leave them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. It just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'd just like to tell you about my free beginner's guide to building your own productivity system. Now, if you are new to productivity, or even if you're an old hand to productivity systems, this beginner's guide is designed especially for you. It's around about a 1 hour long online course that will give you all the tips and tricks that you need to build your very own productivity system so that you can start focusing in on the things that are important to you and start building a life that you can be very happy with. I just want to say thank you again so much for watching this video, and I hope you join me in my free beginner's guide to building your own productivity system. Details on how to enroll in that course are in the show notes below, or you can click up there or on the video link there. It'll give you all the details that you need to get yourself into this course. Thanks again.